A lot of momentum early on in the season. They need to bring that back and start getting a few victories.
Ben Kraus, the TMO. Joku Paper, formerly an administrator right here at the Cheetahs during some successful years. We are almost ready for kickoff. Clayton Blomachies. What kind of day will he have? He can excite or disappoint those who support the Cheetahs depending on the mood that he arrives, but he is the facilitator of this team. 68 appearances, just the 10 tries, but the amount of tries that he creates and attacking play that he creates for the Cheetahs is par excellence.
Yeah, what he's particularly good at is the restart and drop kick from this position here. He spends a lot of time practicing it to drop it in the right spot and area for his team to chase.
Up it goes from Blomachies. Chasing hard are the Cheetahs. It is well secured by the Tafellager Griquas. Stefan Ungara complains, but it's a turnover right away. What a start for the home team.
Now, he spoke about the kick, and if you can tackle the ball carrier inside the opposition 22, hold him there and get a man over the ball, win the penalty, you've really achieved something, and that's very well done by the Cheetahs. They declined the kick at goal. It was Marinus van der Merwe, the man that won the penalty. This is Henry Sturgill bringing the ball up, shows daylight, goes in and wins the early penalty.
Great ball to the front of the line out. Drosti, the receiver.
Sorry, he has to point alongside his weight.
And another penalty to the Cheetahs. Wouldn't be surprising if they knock this back into the corner, but it speaks to a team that has drawn a match this season, 44 points all against the Lions right here on their home ground. Turning down 2 shots at posts right at the start of the match, kicking for the corner.
Yeah, you referred to that game. It was an absolute rip-roarer, that one, with some amazing tries scored between the Lions and the Cheetahs.
Are you in or out? Okay.
You're in the red zone now. This is the strike zone. You want to go and get the points.
Marinus van der Merwe looking for Jean Drosti again, and this is Antsila breaking away. Fighting his way to ground. Pienaar, van der Merwe. That's a fine ball to Davis. The offload is brilliant. Pokomelo tries to keep the momentum and get over the line, but he will be held up. Outstanding energy early on from the Toyota Cheetahs.
Now, on the build-up, you mentioned the loose forwards from the Toyota Cheetahs, Aiden Davis and Disa Nsila. We saw him with the initial carry. Junior Pokomelo, the man in the number 7 jersey. He was the one that went over the line, just held up. Positive start from the Toyota Cheetahs. It's just coming around the corner, little offloads and interplay between the loose forwards, all 3 of them involved in that build-up.
Crouch. Bye. Sit.
The Griquas have the heavier pack. Let's see if that makes a difference. Absolutely no movement from either side. Waiting for a chink in the arm of the Cheetahs as it wheels. Pienaar gets it away. Here's Bratz. Simple as you like, the opening score of the match.
Using a big blindside there, did the Cheetahs. Strong work from David Brits. Get that left shoulder, the left wheel. With the left wheel, they play the left side. Uses the handoff on George Whitehead. Gets that big right hand into the chest area, pushes off and propels himself over the line. Good work by David Brits. It's his 3rd try in this year's Currie Cup.
Captain of Marty's in the Varsity Cup earlier this year. He's come up to Free State to join his previous coach at Stellenbosch University, Harvey's Fourie. Pienaar Hook to the left from the captain, and it's just 5 points to 0. David Brits.
Yeah, David Brits did well there. It's going with the wheel. This is what they did. They went, it was left shoulder. Ruan Pienaar knows to go that side. Gets on the outside of the fly half for the Griquas. David Brits in for the first try within the first 3-4 minutes.
Whitehead. The Griquas not going to meet the jumper as he receives, and forward goes Droste. Pienaar. Well, the Cheetahs full of running early on. Will they clear now? They do. Blommetjies. The Griquas field through Whitehead, and that's off to Davids. Ashland Davids. Suffers a big hit. Ungra. Whitehead wise not to throw that ball as the Cheetahs defense was rushing up. Tough pass from Ungra. But moving forward is Mkoli. Griquas finding some momentum of their own. Davids beats the tackle of Yar, but cannot keep his feet. Ungra somehow beating that rushing defense of the Cheetahs by holding the ball just slightly longer. Erich de Jager goes forward, and the Cheetahs finally having to do some defending after controlling the ball for the opening minutes.
A real good continuity there from the Tafelaga Griquas. Andisa Ntsila, the man that's been penalised. It's an area here that the referees have been instructed to clean the breakdown. He wasn't supporting his own body weight. He was on the ground, slowing the ball down. He gets penalised. And they're trying to do that to get the ball flowing. If you can get a clean breakdown, if you can get quick recycle of the ball, the whole game opens up and it's a better spectacle.
Okay.
One of the areas that the referees have been targeting. And possible reason why we've had these high-scoring games, because they've allowed the game to flow. They've cleaned that area up at rucktime.
20 seconds left.
Whitehead. Right over it goes from the Bloemfontein-born number 10 for the Griquas.
Yeah, Bloemfontein-born, and he's played a couple of games for the Cheetahs as well. Having a really good season for the Tafelaga Griquas at the moment. George Whitehead steering the ship, scoring points. That's his 113th of the season in Currie Cup.
Blommetjies. Cheetahs herring after this again. Droste arrives in time as well. The Griquas under pressure. They get an advantage for the knock-on, which means they can try their hand at something fancy here. Whitehead hoofs it downfield, and Blommetjies will have the chance to counter-attack, which may spell danger. This is Blommetjies' favorite thing to do, running at broken defenses, but nothing broken about that Griquas line. And a penalty advantage for the height of the challenge as well. Masuku off to Yar. Loses his footing. Pienaar. Ntsila. Pienaar again. Fortuin. Been rotating with Brendan Thompson in the number 10 jersey for the Cheetahs as we go back for the penalty advantage.
Number 5. Right.
Stefan Willemse, the man that's been penalised from the Griquas team. Saw a similar field position for the Tafelaga Griquas. They took the 3 points. Ruan Pienaar says, no, we'll bang that into touch and go for the try. Blommetjies brings it up to the line. The tackle's just above the line of that shoulder. There it is there. And he gets penalised for it.
Almost following Sekekete through that gap. And the result, a line out 5 meters out. Marnus van der Merwe. Dummy from Droste at the front, and now they set the rolling maul from the 4-ball, and Ntsila breaking away immediately again. Interesting call that. Trying for the deception play instead of the driving maul, really. Here's van der Merwe. Pienaar. Pokomela! some grass-cutting challenges. He's hopped over. All eagle, though. And now Fortuin sends it wide to Blommachies. Try in the corner. No doubt about it. Craig Berry dots it down.
No, we played on try, no.
I was wondering if he was going to go back for that pass, Griffin Colby, just to go and have a look.
Don't pull back.
He seems happy. Quick recycling of the ball again there from the Toyota Cheetahs. One thing that they are getting is nice width from the breakdown to first receiver. Here's that cross-cutter tackle. Junior Pokamela comes in, dives, jumps right over the top. Even if those players were trying to grab his legs, he was there 1 minute and he disappeared the next. Clayton Blommachies with the offload to Craig Berry.
Simpler effort for Ruan Pienaar this time around, and he obliges with the extra 2. Tries galore in Bloemfontein as usual.
That's the quick recycling of the ball. Even this ball here goes over the top, jumps over the tacklers. 1-2 seconds and the ball is out into the back's hands. Clayton Blommachies, too much experience, knows exactly what to do in that situation. Draws the man, passes and releases Craig Berry into the space.
Whitehead sending it high. Edwin Cater after this. He'll get close. Pressure on Fortuin. What a hit on Davis. Oh, that is crunching stuff from Andre Smith. And on we go. Marnus van der Merwe tries one out the back of the hand. And Nsila does exceedingly well to bring a cool head to the situation and wins a side penalty. Well, there's a man that put the hit. Grimacing as he's seen his hard work undone, perhaps by himself.
That's the man there. Andre Smith. Massive hit that he puts in, but there was no clear release. He stayed on the player. And the refs are being very strict with that.
Very strict indeed.
This is the hit there. Bang, and he comes. You going nowhere. 120 kgs. Like a rock, he was not going to be moved.
Lovely stuff. Down off the top from the Cheetahs. Ruan Pienaar off to Fortuin. Big hits in the middle as that ball was juggled. Gideon van der Merwe. Absolutely tireless loose forward. He'll never stop hitting rucks. What a knock on.
Yeah, just on Gideon van der Merwe. Just so good to see him back out on the pitch. That game against the Lions, a couple weeks ago, he got absolutely bent backwards. And it's amazing how his knee withstood the load, and he's still back out there on the field. Very well prepared and in great fitness is Gideon van der Merwe.
Ashton Davids for the Griquas as well. Spent a few matches out after taking a very unfortunate swinging forearm in a tackle. Left the field on a stretcher. Great to see him back in the 15. This Griquas side, they get through a lot of work, not as much rotation for obvious reasons as the Cheetahs, the Bulls and the other big unions. They have to lean heavily on their players like Steenkamp. I mean, he's played almost every minute.
Fine. Sit.
George Whitehead, another example of that, Warren.
100%. They don't quite have the same depth in personnel. The referees in this sector at scrum time are looking for stability. They're not looking. They don't want to see movement. And there was far too much movement there. Down it goes. We spoke about it before, and there's been a bit of rain about here in Bloemfontein, and the conditions are heavy. And that turf could get cut up. Possession at 31%. Griquas need to push that number up.
Fine. Sit. Steady now.
Under the watchful eye of Griffin Colby, things go wrong again. And this young prop, Cameron Dawson, who did so well against the Lions, against the experienced Ruan Dreyer, has a penalty against him here this afternoon. Very big kick that, putting the Griquas in an attacking position.
Yeah, penalty happened on the far side between Mkoli and Dawson.
The Griquas will be very focused on getting the set piece right.
Guys, just adjust one number out, please. Out, one number.
It's just so much frustration when you've already begun your move, so now you've shown the dummy that you'll be throwing to your opposition. You have to change plans slightly. Outstanding work from the Griquas with the challenge up from the Cheetahs, and now the rolling maul is set well from the 4-ball. Perfect position, gives you space to work, not too close to the touchline. And now the Cheetahs rolling around, disrupting. Illegally so, yes, and Ungra gets it away. Great pass that from Franca. And Ashlyn David, surrounded by Cheetahs, cuts a path forward. Ungra has found some space. Whitehead, early tackle on him. Somehow he still makes it there. Power from Whitehead.
Advantage.
Yeah, really good advantage play there by referee Griffin Colby. Superb strength shown by George Whitehead. A gaping hole in the defensive line there of the Cheetahs. I was going to comment, and I'm glad I didn't, on how the Cheetahs' defense has improved, but they run away from position here. So they run out of position, run on full turn, knows he's got to get to about third, fourth pillar. He runs to that position, but doesn't look inside to see that there's anyone filling the space. There's no one, so he runs out the space, leaves the hole. It's exploited straight away by Stefan Unger. A great play by the little scrubby, and then there was a lot of work that needed to be done by George Whitehead to get the try and drag the man over. Good score. Well done by the Tafalaga Griquas.
They're gonna break down mentally. Keep it there. They're used to losing, bro.
All the Griquas points belong to this man on screen, George Whitehead.
Now, on defence, you get drummed as to what you've got to do. You've got to get into position, but you can't go into the position you're meant to be if someone isn't going to replace the position you're departing from. And that's what happened there. There was a space, and it's the beauty and the strength of a good player to pick it up on the moment. Hey, there's space there. There's an opportunity. Let's take it. That's what the Griquas did.
Change of plans for the kickoff, from the kickoff for the Toyota Cheetahs.
Advantage over.
Barry turns to the toe. That one bounces out into touch. Not worked out very well for the Griquas. Great kickoff for the Cheetahs.
Well, and that's what we mentioned. I mentioned that Clayton Blommick is exceptionally good at this kickoff. Gets lots of hang time, and he gives the hang time. It allows the Cheetahs players to get underneath the ball and make it a 50-50. And that's the beauty of a good kickoff that can be placed like that. Defensively now, Griquas have got to exit from here, 5 meters from try line.
Van Rooyen finding Smith! Try given! Marnus van der Merwe, the ultimate opportunist, pouncing on the ball over the line. More tries in Bloemfontein.
Even Harvey's Fourie, the coach there, gave a big smile. He knows that that's a soft one, but you've got to be an opportunist and you've got to be able to poach it, and that's what Marnus van der Merwe done. The problem here is that it's a tap ball on your line out. You should never, ever be tapping the ball into that in-goal area. Brilliantly done by Marnus van der Merwe. Ungra tries to knock and paddle this on to James Veritiam. Can't make the contact, and van der Merwe gets in.
Ruan Pienaar Successful again. It's 19 points to 10, 4 tries in the opening 20 minutes.
Yeah, the Tofelaga Griquas have got Albert van den Berg as their line-out forward, or their coach. He's one of the best in the business. And he would tell these guys, never ever tap that ball down into your in-goal area like that. Get 2 hands up, take it down cleanly. You can't transfer all that kind of pressure onto your scrum half.
The Griquas kicking slightly shorter as well, but Jean Droste getting flung up into the air. All legal this is. Cater, he's on the ball. And now he must leave it. Really unusual situation developing at the back of that impromptu maul. Pienaar, look for crash ball here. Davis with the responsibility. And once more, hunting him down was Andre Smith in the 4 for Griquas.
He's put in a few big hits.
He'll be disappointed that his tap back resulted in a try against the Griquas. Ashland Davids in the air, perfectly timed by one and all.
Brilliant.
Away by Angara.
Numbers.
Willemse tries to get it wide. Veritiam taps it on, and here is Gideon van der Merwe. Van der Merwe, a serious athlete he is. Gideon van der Merwe brought down by Pienaar. Angara. There are numbers galore at depth out wide for the Griquas. Whitehead gives it on to Davids. Davids takes the gap on his own. Davids now finds a way to get the ball away. And it's yet another try here in the first half. Chris Hollis crosses the line for the Griquas.
Just have a word with him with the offsides, please. Yep.
Superb stuff here from the Griquas, showing that they are equally adept at spinning the ball, getting width, putting players into space, exposing forwards that are out in the back line, and getting nifty runners to offload to a centre, a big centre at 1.92 m, 107 kgs on the drift there from Ashland Davids. He did so well, did Ashland Davids, to get the offload, create the space, and give the opportunity to Chris Hollis to go in and score.
This is how Cheetahs games end up getting to 44 points all. Always a high scoring affair when you're watching the side from Bloemfontein. Clean strike from Whitehead. This one will not have the requisite swing. It remains 19 points to 15.
Scott Matty, the head coach, knows his team will never lie down. Defensively, Charles straight under the fence coach with the Cheetahs would not be happy with this. Sucked in 2-3 players drifting out of channel, not holding their shape, exploited there by the runners, and the angles that were chosen by the Griquas players.
Cheetahs go deep again, mixing up their restarts.
Second number 5 too slow, running away.
Penalty advantage to Griquas. Just the chip and go, seeing if this works out. Veriem is after it, but here's Angara. He puts it to the toe again.
Kick. 5 out running away.
That's a good call from Griffin Colby. I think Angara was in front of the kick.
5 in 4.
That's James Veritiam. He was up with originally with the Tafelaga Griquas, went up to the Bulls. Just been released during the week because they've had a couple of injuries here at the Griquas, so he's come down to offer a little bit of cover, and great to see him getting some game time. Take up by Sergio. Again, we mentioned the fact that the players got to make a clear attempt to roll away and get out of that position. None made, and thus he gets penalised.
Whitehead looking for touch. It will be a Griquas feed to the line out.
He's always heavily involved as George Whitehead. Accumulates points, distributes. Got a good boot on him.
Better line out this time from the Griquas. Driven immediately, Ruan Steenkamp, captain of his side, but the Griquas find momentum all the same. And breaking away, Stefan Willemse. Ungerer, that's a flat ball right there to the hard-running Jonathan Franke. Ungerer looks for the big boys this time, and Mqoli takes it to ground. Quick ruck. Looking for a gap again, Ungerer, but the knock has come. Increasing the tempo, but the hands fail them in the end.
Yeah, I love that flat ball to Jonathan Franke. So good on the advantage line. Sets a target for the forwards to run around and support. Unfortunately, Eric Diaga just gets a little ahead here. Ball gets delivered behind him. He can't pull it back in.
Okay.
I think he's expecting it quicker from Ungerer.
Right,
Ungerer took a step or two before he delivered.
Left side, please. Stronger left side, please. Okay, both loose hits.
The ball.
Yeah, I will. He's responsible for that. He's got to work up with the space, but he's responsible for that. Okay. Yeah, but don't close the gap. So. Okay. Look. Crouch. Fine. Boo! Sit!
Much better work from both sides. Wow, off-cursed it. But the ball's at the back and on we play. Pinar gets it away to Blommetjies. Almost finding a gap, so dangerous. Davis, who's been doing the hard work for Cheetahs all season in that number 8 jersey. Masuku, David Brits now running from depth for Cheetahs, but being met in defense by the Griquas. That hefty number 13, Chris Hollis, putting in a big hit. Sekekete breaks through. Very well done by Davis, but he's passed it straight off to Ferdiam. There will be no catching this man. All the way in for the try. He's been to the Force, he's been to the Brumbies, but he's back home in South Africa. Born in Kroonstad, and now turning out for the Griquas, who strike again.
And he loves a visit to the try line. James Fertiam. Against the runner play, it has to be said. The break there from Victor Sekekete into open space, numbers all over. Unfortunately, did not get that pass right. Aiden Davis tried to pass whilst he was being tackled in full extension. So the accuracy of the deliverance of this ball is not what he would want. Poached and pounced upon by James Veritiam, and he's got a smile on his face already. He knows he's in for a try. Welcome back to the Trafalgar Griquas, James Veritiam.
Great spirit at the Griquas. Even as Stefan Ungerer looked to tap that loose ball that was knocked back behind the line that resulted in the Cheetahs try, you saw a smile on the face. They play this game with joy in their hearts. George Whitehead. Just taking his time, making sure he uses up as much of the clock as possible. Waited for the medic to arrive so he can get one more sip of water, and over it goes.
Now, it doesn't matter how the tries are scored, they all still count. It was a tech Tiara Cheetahs. Defense stretched for the Trafalgar Griquas, and from there you've got absolutely no price he's going to get in every single day. Well, James Veritiam runs in unopposed, untouched for the third try for the Trafalgar Griquas.
They continue to mix it up from the kickoff, and again it's successful for the Cheetahs. They don't come up with possession this time, but the disruption will be unsettling their opposition. Ungerer sends it away to Alandre van Rooyen.
Use it.
Cautiously and rightly so, the Griquas finally got a hold of the lead. And they want to clutch onto that. Barry, regularly a fullback when he played at Marty's for all those years, manages to secure somehow Blommetjies away. Fortuin out to Masuku, running out of numbers and shifting across field. Binard might have just slipped up over onto the neck of Aranos Kotsia, and it ends in a spilling of the ball, and it will be a fee to the scrum for the Griquas. Disappointing for the Cheetahs, but there's some free running rugby going on here today.
Okay. Yeah, okay.
There certainly is, and just a little knock there, catches a boot, and a little knock on there from Rowan Pinot.
Let's get on the same height.
And the frustration for the captain.
The gap, please, okay? Especially this side.
And they're getting opportunity, and now they've got numbers here, do the Cheetahs. And a big problem with South African defence often is we drift towards the touchline. All this attack is drifting towards the touchline, and it makes it easy for the defence because the defence can also hold the inside line and just drift and use the touchline. One of those Cheetahs players needed to straighten that line just to fix the defence and plant the defence from the Griquas.
Fine. Sit! Keep it up. Keep it up.
Further instability in the front row. It has been a feature of this match thus far, but Warren, you did say that perhaps the field's been compromised by the heavy rainfall over the past few days.
Sorry. I just got to get the scrum stable before we get the ball.
Yeah, lots of chat out there at the moment.
Yeah, you get a
Eric Diaga coming a lot under a bit of pressure at the moment from Cameron Dawson. There's a real battle between the loose head and the tight head for the Tafalaga Griquas. The loose head for the Cheetahs and the tight head for the Griquas.
Crouch. Fine. Sit. Steady.
Holding up just fine this time. Angara gets it away. Whitehead flat ball to Keita, that's forward.
It was massively forward. And Griffin Colby was in the perfect position to see it. Called it immediately. Even Edwin Keita's got a big smile on his face. This is it here. Unfortunately, he fixed his eyes on a target that was in front. And he put the ball exactly where his eyes were, George Whitehead.
Another scrum to test the surface.
Yeah, and he knows it. Look at the big smile on his face. Absolutely no complaints.
Much better.
Let's go! Let's go, Ted! Close. Close.
Crouch. Fine. Up. Sit.
Oh, here come the Cheetahs now, keeping the ball in at the back, and wisely so, Davis. Penalty advantages come. He would do well to break away now. And the Cheetahs can roll the dice on one extravagant play. Fortain off to Masuku. Wide it goes to Blommachies. Through for Craig Berry. He'll do well to get there. Keita spills it.
This is a big advantage.
And that is an advantage, Warren. That's a big advantage.
Now, massive advantage, 5 metre scrum. With a nice little blind side to work on as well. Edwin Keita, he's disappointed in that. The little grabber kick came through from Clayton Blommachies. There's a little question finder testing the defence. The eyes from Edwin Keita came up. He looked at the defence instead of focusing on the ball.
All right, thanks. Let's go,
Of course,
guys.
he's off to Sharks. He's been contracted to go join the Sharks after the Currie Cup. That is debut for the Griquas back in 2019.
Not a bad place to be signing up for right now, the Sharks. They're looking good for the URC.
Got black. Time off. Got black. Too much.
So we'll have some running repairs. And it's Barry who's bleeding profusely.
When the backs get mixing and up front to the forwards, this is what tends to happen.
I don't know what they're doing there, Warren.
All right.
Obviously just a little bit of a clash there with Craig Berry. Nothing too serious, but great field position here for the Toyota Cheetahs that want to make it count.
You know, Warren, looking at the condition of the surface, just on a side note, only in Bloemfontein would you say there's been some rain and therefore the grass will be worse than it was before. Anywhere else in the world you'd say the grass will be greener. But somehow it's become difficult underfoot for the scrum.
Yeah, it has, but these players have got to be able to adapt, and especially as a forward, you've got to bring the backup boots with the extra long sprigs that you can put in, which you would assume all these players, especially in the tight forwards and the 8, would have applied.
I'm sure you can testify to the fact that This is nothing compared to the toughness of the Griquas field.
Exactly.
Much better. Give him the same height, please.
And that tells the story there. All the action areas
Picture I'm getting.
predominantly in the Griquas half, 43% in that halfway to 22 zone.
Crouch. Fine. Sit. Keep it up.
It's holding up. And this is it for the Toyota Cheetahs. Utterly dominant at scrum time now. They won't get the immediate penalty,
Full dominance now.
but the writing's on the wall.
Yeah, and with scrum dominance, and that's what we're starting to see here a little bit from the Cheetahs. Gives the ability to determine and dictate where the play is going to be played. Choose your shoulder. Kutsia, Van der Merwe and Dawson in that front row for the Tiara Cheetahs.
Crouch. Bye. Sit.
Just about enough stability to call the set for Griffin Colby, and the Toyota Cheetahs will be looking to repeat the dose. It pops up in the front again. Interesting to see which way the referee goes this time. Pinar gets it away, and wow. That speaks for itself, what's happened there. Scrum advantage to Griquas. They come up with the ball. Gideon van der Merwe. Lack of clinicality here in the final 10 minutes of the first half. If you can believe that, the time has flown by. Angara has Whitehead in position for a clearance, but he'll take the responsibility on himself. Barry underneath this, but it will be safely into touch. Outstanding work.
Another visual demonstration of the character in this Griquas team. You think they're in trouble, but they man up, they front up, and they stand up. Much better scrum there from them. Managed to get the turnover and relieve that pressure situation.
That's how they found their way to wins over the Free State, Western Province, and the Lions in this year's Currie Cup. Cheetahs smarting from that loss. Their first game of the season, round 2 of the Currie Cup. To the back of the line out, slapped back onto the Griquas side. Veritiam under pressure from Mnsila. Finds a way forward. Thrusty lying all over the ball, and the Griquas have the penalty advantage. George Whitehead launches it downfield. Oh, the Cheetahs really hamstringing themselves here in the closing moments of the first half.
Yeah, very important. If you're going to make the tackle, and you can come in, you make a tackle, no problem with the tackle here. Goes down, does Jean Drosti, but now he lies on that player. He's got to make a concerted and visible show and picture to the ref that he's rolling away. His hands are still bound to James Veritiam. He has no stage has tried to roll away, and he'll get penalised all day. It's an area that the refs have been told to focus on and look for.
Yes, seldom that you'll see the player continue to bind to the legs on the ground. Usually they'll be waving their arms around, trying to make a show to the referee that they've tried their best, but the opposition is deliberately pinning them in the ruck. The dark arts continue. Quick feed to the line out, clever stuff from the Griquas. Referee's back was turned to it, and forward we go with Franke. Angara. Gideon van der Merwe. They've got the Cheetahs on the run. Whitehead, Sergil now surging into space. Andrew Sergil needs to go himself, and yes he does! What a try from the number 7!
Absolutely beautiful from Hunro Sergil. They're going to love it there. Albert Vandenberg, Scott Matthew. He was looking to pass it. Perhaps that was half the secret, because the players kept standing off him. They weren't coming to come and take him down. Nice quick recycle of the ball. Gets into the hands of the big loose forward. He sees that there's a big tight head prop. He says, I'll back myself. He goes, and he goes all the way. Hunro Sergil. A real delight. We see them playing for Tuxton Varsity Cup Rugby. Another one of these Varsity Cup Rugby players that has been dragged through, coming through into the Currie Cup system.
Product of East London, Hanru Sergel, attended Grens. And George Whitehead, the Grey College boy. At Western Province Lions match just after this broadcast.
Yeah, and it's a really exciting Currie Cup at the moment. Lots of tries being scored. Referees out there trying to speed the game up, trying to create space, clean the game up, and allow for tries to be scored.
And tries there shall be. The Griquas to get us restarted. George Whitehead. Cater after this one. Looks very well placed, and the Cheetahs allow it to bounce. Somehow Davis comes up with the goods.
Outside.
Both sides have been putting in challenging kickoffs. And that's Bernardo's come off the bench. Pivotal lock for this side. Brilliant in the lineouts and in the open play. It'll be a benefit to the Cheetahs to have him on the field. Great clearance as well.
Just looking, it looks like John Drosti's the guy that has departed. Victor Sikaketa is still on the field. Renier Bernardo is on in jersey number 19, the big guy. Straight going for a shorter line-out, six-man line-out. Gideon van der Merwe standing in amongst the backs for the Tafellager Griquas.
To their captain at the front, Ruan Steenkamp. Ooh, very dangerous stuff. Whitehead kicks it on. Hollis has to hold on desperately, and a knock-on has arrived in the midst of that. Warren, I've noticed another change for the Cheetahs. Big one. Fortain has gone from the field. I'm seeing Tian Meyer has come on, and it looks like Ruan Pienaar might have slipped into the fly-half position.
Yeah, and remember, we saw him in fly-half against the British and Irish Lions back in 2009. Ruan Pienaar is a very talented player. That's the accuracy not there, and we've seen this from both sides at times, wanting to strike and unfortunately getting it all wrong.
Crouch. Fine. Sit.
Solid set. Something which both sides struggled to come by in the first half. Popping up at the front, Tian Meyer has been told to use it. Here's David Brutz on the blind. Broke through Whitehead's tackle for the opening try of the game. Cater with the turnover. Brilliant Steenkamp. It's away to Arendse. Franke rather. Now moving Gideon van der Merwe. Almost finding a half gap. Angre. Unger returns to the box kick to clear their lines. Veritiam after this. Blommachies underneath! My goodness, that's a big hit. Play on is the call. Jonathan Franke. Drop shoulder there. Hopefully it was on the shoulder line. Ruan Pienaar. Away to Jaar. Meyer. Pienaar away to Blommachies. Unaffected by that big hit on him, and he gets sent backwards again by Stefan Willemse. Meyer, Aranos Kutsia, Namibian international, carries it forward and forward again by Marnus van der Merwe. What a player he is in the hooker position for the Cheetahs. Pienaar.
Jonathan Franke, the man that's been penalised, he made that hit on Clayton Blommachies. Clayton Blommachies would go on to receive another big hit from Willemse. Just showing how tough and durable the number 15 is for the Te Aire Cheetahs. Great kick there from Ruan Pienaar, the old banana kick.
Love to see it. And here is Blommachies.
In the wars, it's such a creative player. Takes it expertly out the air, gets big in the air, bang, gets smashed there. Not too much in that tackle, really. It was around the chest region from Franca.
Deemed legal and on we played. The Cheetahs now getting driven back at their own rolling maul. And they give up on getting momentum there. Meyer away to Masuku. Half breaks the tackle of Whitehead. Pinar waiting for the looping run of Barry. Not coming at any great pace. But he does well to set the ruck. Van der Merwe, Bernardo, Sekekete there to clear, but the steal is better from Angara.
Half halves all around. We saw Edwin Keita get a steal. Now we see Stefan Angara. Big smiles, big spirit in this Tafelaga Griquas team. And the real issue there for the Te Ara Cheetahs is they just weren't sending enough numbers to the ruck. They had one player going to clean it out. All the rest standing back, waiting for the ball.
Number four.
And the Griquas spotting it immediately, sending numbers in. There's Angara, goes down. Only got Victor Sekeketa trying to clean him out. He's able to hold his ground, hold his position, and win the penalty.
9.
Van Rooyen. Ahead to the back of the line out, well executed to Adre Smith, and now cutting back on the angle is Jonathan Franca. Franca into space, he'll now have to use his options well. Yard brings him to ground, clean ball for the Griquas, diving in.
It's a dart to the ground.
It's a coach killer.
6.
Pinar spotting some space. Griquas slow to retreat, and Keita must watch this fly over the touchline. That is Springbok experience.
Yeah, and take it quickly. Lovely ball here for Jonathan Franca. Runs into the vacuum, into that space. Busts through it. Unfortunately, he had a big tight head prop that was trying to support him. He couldn't play him. Goes down, and then here, players they like crash landing aeroplanes. They're coming down and they're going to ground instead of taking off, and because of that, they will get penalised every single time. Coach killer, that one.
Legend of Northwest University's rugby scene, Gideon van der Merwe. Sekekete receives with the 4-ball. Meyer off to Pinar. Masuku takes it to the line. Here's Meyer. Dummy for van der Merwe. Bernardo. Cheetahs making progress with ball in hand. Looked like it was one for Sekekete, but van der Merwe takes it. Meyer to Pinar, some numbers on the outside. David Brits, he finds Masuku to Yar, and they're well covered. Meyer with some options, looks for Bernardo with the fresher legs, then Sekekete.
No, he's out there, visible. It's own player.
Seeking a turnover, there is Gideon. No, that is another solid effort by Adre Smith. Blomachi sends it wide to Junior Pokomela, the inside ball to Barry. Dancing into touch, very flat pass as well. The Cheetahs enterprising in the opening 10 minutes of the second half.
Already we've seen the impact of Ryan Pinar in that number 10 jersey. Just his option taking, the time that he seems to have on the ball, and the accuracy of pass as well. This pass here from Blomachi is brilliant. Gets on the outside now. This here from Pokomela was superb. On the run, on the advantage line for Craig Barry, unfortunately just up against that touchline.
Pressure line out for the Griquas. Bernardo looks ready to contest. Sekekete is the one that goes up. Outstanding work from the Cheetahs to keep the pressure on. And now Tian Meyer finds Dawson, the young prop. Chopped down. Meyer again, and now Ruan Pinar has runners at pace. Clayton Blomachi's looking to find the hard-running David Brits, but the pass is forward from the facilitator of the Free State Cheetahs.
There are disappointment there for Clayton Blomachi's and the Cheetahs. They did so well there at the line-out time. 5 meters from try line, they put pods up. They forced and only gave the Cheetahs really that back option. They went for it and unable to make it, and they poached that ball. That's the forward pass from Blomachi's. He knows it was a real opportunity.
Let's go sit up.
Born in Paul, Clayton Blommachies attended New Orleans Secondary School, which features in the other enormous Paul derby that is usually an annual affair.
Yeah, he's an elder statesman of this Cheetahs team. Played over 100 games for the Cheetahs, been for the SA7s, the Bulls, Scarlets, Leicester overseas in England.
Bye.
Barbarians.
Whoa.
He's done it all, Warren. And he's very important to this Free State setup, but it does speak to the kind of game that they play that Clayton Blommachies is such a crucial.
Both teams, no stability on bind. Okay, let's get it right.
Just listening to Griffin Colby explain the bind.
There's no control, guys. Get control, please. Yep.
He's one of the young up-and-coming refs in South Africa at the moment, Griffin Colby.
All right, stability. Crouch.
Sitting under Jaco Paper's mentorship. Just great to see the strides he's making.
Sit.
Comes from a rugby family as well.
No stability.
Short
No
arm
stability.
from Griffin
No stability,
Colby.
number 3. Right there. No stability.
Conrad van Vuren has come on in jersey 18. He's the man that gets penalised. Goes straight down onto the knee, does Conrad van Vuren straight away.
1, 2, 4.
You see the bench from the Griquas getting utilised. Johan Momsen, Jaco Ace and Andrew Bierwinkel coming onto the field. There's Bierwinkel in the white headgear.
Went over to play in the American League, Major League Rugby, Johan Momsen, and was named Forward of the Year of the competition, which was played, matches played in 2021. He made the final and lost to the LA side there.
That's the player in jersey number 19 for the Tafellager Griquas.
And up go the Cheetahs. Seka Kete at the center of the rolling maul. Marvelous van der Merwe, the tireless number 2, waiting in the boot. No momentum. Had to dummy Griffin Colby to get that one away to Davis. Never afraid to carry the ball forward. Pinar sends one deep to Blommachies. Does well to evade first tackle of the onrushing Jonathan Franke. Seka Kete in position, but it goes to Bernardo. Pinar sends it wide, almost intercepted. Davis gets the pass away to Malcolm Yar. Franke is handing out the hits today. And Davis right into the heat of contact. Johan Momsen affects his first tackle. Pinar. David Brutz sends one flying over the top. They're looking to play it fast and loose. Are the Toyota Cheetahs, and Tsila muscling his way through the hits. And a penalty comes the way of Free State. Still 10 points separate these two sides. A completely different affair than it was in the first half when there were just tries bouncing around willy-nilly. Now Ruan Pinar kicks for the corner again.
Yeah, just so much more accuracy from the Cheetahs. Players not riding away, slowing that ball down and not coming through the gate. Cheetahs in that strike zone region again. Sikaketa could be a target.
And he is at the front of the line out. Victor Seka Kete takes a gain. They do have a good lean going on towards the touchline. It's fallen loose out the back. Did Dion Mayer control that without knocking the ball on? On we go. Well, the rolling maul has left plenty to be desired this afternoon. The Toyota Cheetahs. And now they'll pick and go and pop away. Try to power their way through this Griquas defense, which has been stalwart on many occasions this season. Indeed, it's what they've built their lock position on. Seka Kete carries. Meyer waits. Van der Merwe is ready to receive. Manus van der Merwe to ground again. Keeping it simple, keeping it tight. The Cheetahs now so close to the line. If not a try, they'll wait for that penalty advantage as they move forward centimetre by centimetre. And again, it's their hooker, Manus van der Merwe. Pinar waits. No real numbers in the back line for the Cheetahs, so the tactics are clear. They're going to rumble this one over one way or another. Tired bodies now, surely after 9 phases of crashing into the faces of the defenses. At it again, Tian Meyer looking for quick ball as there were some minor gaps in the defense, and now Meyer sends it away to Pinar. Craig Berry over the top to Yard. It was inaccurate, ineffective, and it ends out in touch.
It's going to be a real confidence build-up for the Tafellager Griquas. Defended resolutely around those fringes. And the Cheetahs try and get this ball out wide. This big ball here from Craig Berry. Too much gas, too much heat over the sideline.
Sub's done, you can go.
And really just trying to push it wide instead of fixing a couple defenders and creating a bit of space, as we see Alaluta Chakweni has come on, as has Louis van der Westhuizen in jersey number 16.
Put off.
Known as Chucky van der Westhuizen in his days with the Pucker, now known as the Eagles of Northwest University. Look at those numbers there, Warren.
Yeah, 59 tackles asked of the Cheetahs, 74. The 10 missed by the Cheetahs is a problem when you look at it as a percentage of overall tackles made or asked to make.
Yanku Ace, young star for Blue Bulls Rugby, throws into his first line out, and it is stolen, but man over the ball for the Griquas. They should have a turnover here, and they do. Ungara sends one flying. No real chasers in position because the one Griqua player that was on the chase was offsides. Pinar off to Berry. Masuku. Penalty to the Griquas. Wow, look at the joy on Ashton David's face, as though they've won the match. They're feeling it out here, Warren.
Oh, it's what the game's all about. You want to be out there enjoying yourself, playing with your mates, celebrating the small little victories that happen on the rugby pitch. They lost the line out. They had no rights to get that ball back, but they did. They turned it around, won a penalty, get downtown. And now George Whitehead has said, you know what, we've had so little of this ball in the second half. We haven't applied any pressure. Why don't we just poach and take a little three-pointer and sneak over 30? In comes a tackle from James Veritiam, superb. Gideon van der Merwe comes in, got all kinds of rights there, comes in the legal side, tries to play the ball, and wins the side the penalty. He's had a big game as Gideon van der Merwe.
30 seconds.
Incredibly fit for his size is Gideon van der Merwe. He's won a crucial turnover for his side. 10 points, still separating the two sides, just as it was as they went into the half.
55 meters, tough kick.
And it's away.
Just shaves the left hand upright.
Blommachies, he's got license, no matter where he is on the field. And they start their counter-attack from their own try line. Pokomera throws a speculator onto the inside, directly onto the toe from Blommachies, and now under pressure, Ungara. It's hunted by Nsila.
It's a forward pass in midfield.
Yes, it was. Fair enough. And the Griquas will breathe a sigh of relief. Now that's the joy that Clayton Blommachies can bring. When he gets it right, he sets his team away.
And that's how quick it can change. 1 minute you're going for 3 points, the next minute you're trying to defend in your own 22. Andre Skitter, big Andre Skitter has also come on, 132 kgs. This is Junior Pokomera. This pass here, well, that one there, that's clearly forward. That's Skitter. Played for the Falcon. That's in the east of Johannesburg.
Andrew Bierwinkel on as well, another Tux product, another product of the Varsity Cup.
Coach. Bye. Sit. Now slip on the mark. Slip on the mark.
All sorts of movement going on before the set. It has not been easy this afternoon, come evening.
Just safety.
Alaluta Chukwueze in that loose head position for the Toyota Cheetahs. He's up against Andre Skitter. That's Chukwueze.
If you want the space, work with the space.
Coach.
Amazing, no points scored in the second half yet.
Bye. Sit. No, number one, losing his bind.
It's been unmitigated chaos at scrum time.
70.
And the ground cannot be blamed for all of the problems.
No, you can't. You're going to get far worse. You know the stadiums around the world, I can tell you. They'll take the penalty, the Griquas, bang this downfield from George Whitehead and look to launch.
I mean, Warren, for the Griquas, everything is going perfectly.
Well, they've only had 12% of the possession in the second half, so they haven't had much ball, but now they're getting the penalties, getting a little bit of field position, need to make it count. In on the angle, feet go out, and Chukwueze's the man penalised.
If they can find a way to score next, the Griquas will truly have the home side, the Toyota Cheetahs, sweating. 4 balls, Seka up again. And it's Louis van der Westhuizen who secures the ball for the home team. Chukwueze.
Also outside.
Good leg drive.
Outside.
Just setting the Cheetahs slightly further away from the touchline, giving them more options, more space to kick into touch or kick downfield. Tian Meyer looks like he'll be taking the responsibility of clearing the ball. Berry's after it. Veritiem, elusive runner that he is, well tackled by Bernardo. Sergil, driven backwards by Aidan Davis. Angra. Andrew Bierfunkel drops his head and moves forward into the defensive line of the Free Staters. Angra now over the top. Who's after this? Veritiem. Clayton Blomacheese is first man beaten. Gets it off to Barry. But the Griquas continue to play in the right areas of the pitch, whether they have the ball or not. And a dominant tackle into touch. Tian Meyer seems to have accepted that, and it will be another line out to the Griquas. 20 minutes left to play.
Yeah, decision making, just going that short side there wasn't the correct option. Gets bundled out into touch. There, runs straight into a cul-de-sac, straight into the arms of Janko Huys, who gladly will drive him out and into touch. The line has been a problem now for the Tafelaga because they've lost a couple back-to-back lineouts. When you get field position like this, you want to strike from the set piece, but they're struggling to get it cleanly and on their own terms at the moment.
This time they get in front of Seka Kete, tired of seeing him tapping the ball back onto the Toyota Cheetah side. Rainier Bernardo legally in there. Did he legally collapse that maul though? And now away from Angra, Veritiem. Veritiem almost finding a way through. Angra. Andrew Bierfunkel, happy to carry ever since he's come onto the field, and now piling into that ruck. Conrad van Vieren. The angle was just good enough. Angra. Simplifying things now, the Griquas cherishing this possession, which they've had so little of in the second 40 minutes. Now a short ball to Davids, who does break that first defensive line, but the covering defenders of the Free State Cheetahs are there. And a penalty advantage to the Griquas. It's all going the way of the Po Blows so far. And on the outside, the try-scoring machine, Cater, takes his man on in classic fashion. Tackled to ground at Warren. It's going horribly wrong for the Toyota Cheetahs right now.
Yeah, a few little errors just creeping in, getting a little bit high on tackle.
16 right offside.
And eventually it would be Louis van der Westhuizen, who's got penalised for just being offside. I have no doubt that Whitehead will just signal and take the 3 points, as he's done. And we speak about that second half. 28% possession, started to move up. It was at 12% at one stage. Just got a little bit of an early start, spotted by the referee. and brings them back for that penalty. After this, 2 more games to go before the semi-finals start for the Carling Cup, Currie Cup in 2021. How dearly would the Griquas love to be there in the mix this year?
No problems for George Whitehead, and no surprise about that. Cheetahs have it all to do. 13 points now between the two teams. 2 converted tries unanswered would do it for the Cheetahs. We're approaching the final 15 minutes of the match. Mihlali Morsi, hero of Wusu, Walter Sisulu University, secured himself a contract here at the Cheetahs, and onto the field he comes. Kickoff from the Cheetahs, it's bounced loose, powering onto it now, and in for the try, Conrad van Vieren. Striking back right from the kickoff. This match continues to provide entertainment.
You reckon he's happy, Conrad van Vieren? It's as if he'd run 50 meters to go score that try. Well, he did. He ran from the halfway, the whole way through, not taken clearly. In he goes. He pounces upon off the shin, wins the foot race, controls the ball, and gets it, and he's absolutely delighted. A front row forward. And from a Griquas point of view, a real soft moment to allow it to score in that manner. You work so hard for those 3 points, and then you give 5 away.
It's enough to make your head spin. Off the post and over. He's got the touch, and the Cheetahs are back in the game. It's a 6-pointer.
No clear communication, not taken. Hanro Sergil thought that Stefan Willemse was going to take that ball out of the air, and by the time it hit his chest, he was too late to react.
Morsi making 100% sure of that take. He is a dangerous ball runner. And he carries into the Griquas defense. Seka Kete, so often dummy receiver in that first channel. Meyer, the quick ball away to Blomachis. Another great clearance from a kickoff from the Cheetahs. They have that part of their game worked out so well. George Whitehead is after this. It is well positioned, and Blomachis must rise to receive again. And his hands are excellent.
He's handled all the bombs tonight very, very well, Blomachis.
Meyer to Masuku. Masuku sees some space down the center of the field, but that one goes angling towards Davids, who has time to measure his kick. And Ruan Pienaar has time to predict. He's there to receive. Blomachis, an option. This one down. Ashlyn Davids under pressure. It's Davids and Pienaar on their own. Tackle affected. Can the Griquas secure this ball? Morsi doing us all to make sure they don't. Whitehead gets it away to Andre Swartz. He's forced to improvise a kick, and he kicks it directly into touch. Did not look like it was part of the plan. Skilled runner with ball in hand, Andre Swartz, with over 36 appearances for the Griquas. That not his most shining moment.
And they had numbers on the left as well that he could have utilised. Now, first kick of the game for Andre Swartz, and it's not a happy one.
He's following that one with his eyes, hoping it would change direction if he willed it so. In from Chucky van der Westhuizen, and now with Ruan Pienaar. Masuku. Tian Meyer under pressure. Off to Pienaar. Blomachis on the loop. It's Malcolm Jaar. Does very well to juggle and retain. Blomachis steps into position to fill in at halfback for one movement. Van der Westhuizen moves the Cheetahs forward. Here's Blomachis. Delays the pass, as he does so well. Yard is tackled.
Good read from Chris Hollis on defence.
Seke Kete, this time employed in the first channel. Here's Pinar off to Blomaches. And the offload to... It's Nchakweni. Pinar on the outside now. Oh, here comes Pokomela! Try in the corner for Toyota Cheetahs. That is power play. The game's gone from a 6-pointer to a 1. And there's less than 12 minutes to go with the kick to come.
Sumptuous, absolutely sumptuous play here from the Tiara Cheetahs. Broad smiles all around. Varying who's got that ball at first receiver. The distribution there from Ruan Pinar, absolutely beautiful. Into the hands of Junior Pakamela on the drift. And they could afford to drift at this late stage because they had the numbers, they had the space. And he was always going to have the strength to get himself in. But there were a couple of inside balls. The inside ball to Clayton Blomaches. The run from Mossi, who's made a big impact already off the bench. Lots of good in the build-up to that try. Charles Stradham, the defence coach, chatting to Harvey's Fourie.
For the lead, the one and only Ruan Pinar. Pinar. Well, Ruan Pinar has done it again, and applause is what he deserves.
Superb work there from Ruan Pinar, over 250 first-class games, showing his experience. The combination between Tian Meyer, Ruan Pinar and Clayton Blomaches, the three most experienced players on the pitch at the moment for the Cheetah Cheetahs, taking the game by the scruff of the neck, shaking the game, making sure that they stamp their dominance, and that has been the difference in the last 10 minutes or so. The experience coming through.
Deep restart from Griquas, and Mossi carries forward again. Louis van der Westhuizen, well tackled, and Blomaches. You see how often the Cheetahs set up those first two quick rucks, and then they give the ball to Blomaches to make the clearance. This time, not earning a great deal of meterage upfield. But we have 1 point between the teams with less than 10 to play.
And Chris looks like he's also come onto the pitch. I tell you, this one is going to go down. We had 1 point in it, so of course it's going to go down to the wire. But it's just another one of those games. You know that the Griquas are just, they're a side that will never ever lie down. They refuse to. So they're going to bounce back. The Cheetahs are going to fight as much as they can, give a bit of width. So we're going to be in for a cracking last 9 minutes here in this Carling Currie Cup, third to last round of the competition.
Well, winding up to throw that one in was the replacement hooker, Yanku Ace, and it didn't go well. Craig Barry kicks downfield. He thinks he got a hit afterwards. Meyers after this. That's a wild one from Arendse. And the Griquas are on the retreat. This is the last thing they needed after giving up the lead, and that's a shocker of a pass as well. Swartz must clear what is happening out there.
Wow. How to push the self-destruct button. This pass here from Aranya goes up, and a little bit further up before it gets eventually to Andre Swartz. And that was the last action in a string of actions that got them into this field position, but they survive. Although it will be the Cheetahs throw-in now at line-out time.
The substitution's not making the desired impact right now. Just had his hand slightly disrupted. Regan Oranje there, champion with Tuks this year in the Varsity Cup. And it's been a tough introduction for Andre Swartz as well. Missed a tackle for the try. Errant kick. Chucky van der Westhuizen feeds the line out, and Seke Kete rises once more to receive. And finally for the Cheetahs, the rolling ball has some momentum, although it may be sideways slightly. They are moving forward inch by inch, and an advantage is accrued to the Toyota Cheetahs as well. Struggling for points up until the final 10 minutes of this half, and now they seem to be flowing free. Ruan Pinar tries something out with the advantage in the bag. And surely now, Warren, they are done giving up kickable goals.
Yeah, I can imagine Ruan Pinar will step forward, take the 3 points here. Stretches the lead. Gets those seconds counting down. No, he's not. He signaled to the touchline to the referee. Wants to keep applying the pressure, wants to hold the Griquas in their half. It can be two different ways that you view it. You see taking the kick as an easy pressure reliever for the Griquas. You can't lift the player's feet up. The feet from Victor Sikakete are lifted right up in the air. He tells the ref knows all about it. He knows he's won the penalty. And they now have a line at 5, 6, 7 meters from the try line.
Van der Westhuizen to the front this time, straight off the top to Meyer. It's away to Chris Smith. They'll set the rack and they'll have more plans now. Van der Westhuizen carries the offload. They're looking for the momentum, the speed of ruck, but the ball's been turned over. A magnificent play from the Griquas. It may have been Janko Ace. We need to get the right number on it. But that is phenomenal. At the most pivotal moment in the game with 1 point in it, and the opposition bearing down on your try line, you reach into the fray and pull out gold.
Superb. Superb. Comes in there, in their jersey number 16, Janko Ace, the dark art. Sacrificing his body, putting his body at risk and winning his team the ball.
Did remarkably well not to dot the ball down on the try line as well. He was so close to it. Bulls under 21 player of the year 2021, Janko Ace. This young hooker.
Steenkamp's left the field. Dapula will replace him.
Van der Westhuizen to Sikakete, who's been stellar in the lineup today on defense and attack, and now the Cheetahs have found a pathway forward, and they are rolling with Van der Westhuizen in the back. Same mold, and the Griquas must defend it. Van der Westhuizen is bound well, and now he breaks free. He's looking on the inside for Davis. Not the cleanest of passes, and now it's fallen loose. Wow.
A lot of pressure being exerted at the moment by the Cheetahs. It's the reason that Ron Pienaar didn't take the 3 points. He wants to keep it on. He wants to keep the hand on the throat of this Griquas team. There might only be a point in it. He does not want to concede territory, does not want to concede possession. Only if they've got the 7-pointer does he want to run back to his halfway line.
He's not talking to his teammates there. He's speaking to the assistant referee about not giving him that extra meter. What about this rolling maul? So well constructed by the Cheetahs, but this pass, Warren.
Yeah, and some good tackles here. That tackle there from Hanro Sergio was a really good one to stop the Cheetahs.
Sikakete once more, this time at the front. The rolling maul is what they turn to. Chucky van der Westhuizen waits in the back. They've moved towards the touchline, far too close indeed. And Chris Smith carries forward. Look at the meters on that carry as well as they try to rip it free in the tackle. Van der Westhuizen cuts back on the angle. Well, he's been great since coming onto the field. Meyer now, Sikakete. Meyer back to the open side. Pienaar, what a facilitator he is! Through the clutches of Craig Berry and backwards. But the Griquas live to fight another day once more. Less than 4 minutes to play, and they've been camped out outside of their own try line. But just give them one sniff and see what these Griquas can do. The Cheetahs will be looking to do precisely the opposite of that, and Blommachies is looking for gaps. Morsi to ground. Now finding a gap and accelerating Conrad van Vieren, try scorer that brought this match right back into the balance. Smith now. And Ruan Pienaar's call to kick for the corner certainly has chewed up time on the clock. We're into the final 3 minutes, and the Cheetahs are in full control of possession. Possession which they've dominated throughout the match. Pienaar inside to Blommachies.
He's had a good game as Blommachies.
Very good today. Tiaan Meyer away to David Brits. Brits looking for a half gap. Smith well tackled.
By Green.
Well,
Oh, that's all it takes. A knock on in the tackle. So unable to kick that ball through for the Griquas team. That's it there. There's the hand. It's a correct call again from Griffin Colby. Great officiating.
the Cheetahs doing exactly what every coach would tell you not to do, not playing to the whistle there as the ball was kicked through. They were waiting for the call for the knock-on and the tackle.
Let's go. Yeah, sit up.
And Griffin Colby, tired of watching the Cheetahs have a conference about how they will conduct this scrum, eager to get them here. This has been a problem area all match, and yes, there's further instability, which is perfect for the Cheetahs.
Yeah, Cheetahs not going to complain, they're happy. Count the clock down, waste the time.
I want you to stable on your feet, don't pull it down, okay? Yep. Be strong on your feet.
Chukwedi ready to pack down again. Attended Hudson Park. Was at the Kings from 2018 to 2020.
So set instability.
Well, this is it. The Griquas must win a scrum penalty or somehow get the ball back in their possession. Griffin Colby hands-on that scrum to make sure the same thing doesn't happen again. The Griquas find some momentum here. Will they earn themselves a penalty? No, the penalty goes against them. And surely that's tickets for the Griquas now. 1 point separates the two sides, 20 seconds to play, and a penalty advantage coming the way of the Toyota Cheetahs. They have nothing to worry about anymore. Somehow, someway on their home ground here, against game opposition, they've found the result which they needed, the result which keeps their hopes alive in this Carling Currie Cup. David Brutz on the outside now, slipping as he goes. Andre Swartz did well not to lift that leg.
Yeah, full-time Hooter guys in the background. Clayton Blommetjies runs forward, but they've already got the bonus point. They'll get 5 points for the victory here, the Cheetahs. The good thing from a Griquas point of view is that they will take 2 as well.
Warren, one thing to think about, the Griquas and the Cheetahs will be competing for the same spot on the log, the 4th spot or the 3rd spot. Now, if the Griquas score a try, they'll take themselves beyond those 7 points and make sure that the Griquas get 1 less. They choose against it because the danger is too great. But remember that when it comes to the final reckoning in this season, the decisions that the Cheetahs have made. But in the end here, it is the Toyota Cheetahs, the home side, that have won on their home ground. The Toyota Stadium here in Bloemfontein, and on your screen, Seke Kete, a standout player without question. Loyola Dapula, another product of the Varsity Cup. Johan Momsen, another product of the Varsity Cup, and Chris Smith behind him the same. So the rugby wheel continues to turn here in South Africa, and healthily so. And yet another product of the varsity competition there. Blommetjies as well, who played for Tuks. The list goes on. But there are your winners here this afternoon and evening. It is the home side, the Toyota Cheetahs, who find a way to victory over the Tafel